Welcome to Fun and Development, Player Development Series Volume 3. This is Coach Lou Mignone, Director of Coaching at West Orange United FC. I hope that everybody is safe and healthy during this COVID-19 quarantine period. In terms of the return to play, we've been made aware of the governor's announcement pertaining to the June 22nd return to youth sports. This initial phase of return will involve physical distancing between players and staff members, and will involve a lot of individual technical training within an environment that has no contact, no physical contact between participants. So we'll have more information available to you as we plan future events, perhaps over the summer. But the thought is that, and we hope that we'll be back on the field for the new normal and the start of our fall season in September. So please check out the YouTube playlist. I have a series of individual technical training videos that you can watch with your children, and they can perhaps engage within these activities in your backyard with the ball on their own. Please join our webinars for players each Thursday at 4 o'clock p.m. They're 30-minute Zoom webinars. And parent webinars each Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Zoom 30-minute webinars as well. I will record the content from each of these webinars and post on YouTube for those of you that are unable to join the live sessions. Again, we want to thank you and the other families and friends of West Orange United FC for helping us to build a wonderful program for children with special needs. This program, Top Soccer, meets during the spring and fall seasons each Saturday late afternoon, 5 or 6 p.m. Within a gymnasium. And please contact me if you have any questions or if you'd like to volunteer, or certainly if you know children that could benefit from this experience. We'll continue to talk today about the national grassroots movement of U.S. soccer through the evidence-based approach of Play-Practice-Play, a brand new methodology specifically designed for American youth soccer players. The big picture in our country is that 75% of children drop out of soccer by the age of 13. The primary reason for leaving is that they're not having fun and not developing the skills to advance to higher levels of the game. This is the first generation, according to the American U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, to have a shorter life expectancy than the previous generation, than their parents. This is due to less active lifestyles and rising levels of obesity. A closer look was taken at the challenges that we face in youth sports, and this is a look at soccer. The average age to quit soccer is 9 years old. The average years of participation is 3. And there is a recommended 60 minutes of moderate physical activity each day for children. And only 5% of children ages 5 to 18 meet this minimum. Children of this generation have moved more towards sedentary hobbies involving screen time. So children 8 to 12, according to commonsensemedia.org, spend 4 hours and 44 minutes of screen time, while teenagers 13 to 18 years of age spend 7 hours and 22 minutes of screen time. This is not screen time that is related to school. This is screen time out of school. So the youth sports scene has caused has caused quite a great deal of research by various people trying to figure out why children leave and what specifically is not fun. Well, we've learned that what is not fun about soccer are these type of activities, which we call drills. So the drill that we see in the upper left-hand corner, those are boys that are standing in line with their ball, waiting for a turn to take a shot at a goal. And the lower picture on the right is a similar line. Girls are waiting in line to take a turn in dribbling in and out of a straight line of discs that are on the ground, a marked dribbling pattern. And these type of things are not only boring and not fun, but they're not developing skills. These are perhaps addressing technique, the technique of using the inside of the foot, as that girl is using to the inside of her right foot to cut left, and maybe the inside of her left foot to cut right. But that's not a skill. That's a technique. A skill would include a number of other things that have to be taken into account, such as reading, deciding, reflecting, and those things that are part of the learning circle. Those things happen within a split second, so that's a skill. It's a quick skill that includes some decision making and reading on the part of the player. These drills do not offer that opportunity. The coach makes a decision of where and when and how the players will dribble or shoot, and then they'll wait in line for their turn to do exactly what the coach has designated the next time. So the importance of fun, Dr. Amanda Visick and her colleagues at George Washington University have really looked a great deal into fun and the importance of fun. They've developed what's called the fun integration theory and fun maps. And they describe that fun is the single largest predictor of sport commitment and sustained participation in childhood and through adolescence. The self-determination theory, put together by Doctors Ryan and Deasy, talk about 3 basic psychological needs that need to be met in order for people to want to continue to participate. So these are based upon human motivation, autonomy, that is being able to make one's own decisions. That within play, practice, play is part of all of the decisions that players will make within the game-like environments that they experience from the time they come until the time they leave, as well as relatedness, being part of a group effort as a team, as there are 2 teams, 1 ball, a directional game from start to finish within all play, practice, play training sessions, and players can collaborate with their teammates for attacking and defending actions. Competence comes in the form of a coach that observes and adapts very carefully each activity to ensure the optimal level of challenge that is linked to the current level of mastery for the players within the team, and that players will struggle a bit to achieve success, and this brings not only a sense of competence but also confidence. So how do we break this down in terms of the play, practice, play methodology? So play, practice, play is game-like. So each phase of play, practice, play is game-like. 2 teams, 1 ball, directional, meaning that each team goes in an opposite direction to score, and it's free-flowing. And the game-like environment allows players the freedom to make their own decisions and solve problems within the context of the game. And this happens through each of the 3 phases of play, practice, play. The coach, instead of commanding players to do X, Y, or Z, The coach stimulates thought on the part of the players by asking meaningful questions, listening to the players, valuing their input. And this type of environment stimulates independent critical thinking on the part of the players. This brings a great level of autonomy, which addresses those basic psychological needs. Relatedness, as I alluded to a few moments ago, brings with it a sense of unity among children that are part of a specific team. And each phase of play, practice, play has 2 teams. So each team has a set of goals and objectives, and this will require collective player actions and application of team tactical principles. And functional groups within each activity include goalkeeper, backs, midfielders, and forwards, and interaction between each of those groups. For instance, the goalkeeper distributing the ball to an outside back will function frequently with that outside back, and the outside back might then function not only with the other backs to move the ball forward, but maybe a midfielder that is providing a forward passing option. And the midfielder, upon receipt of the ball, will look to receive with the first touch going forward to try to connect with forwards that are varying their runs to get in between and in behind lines of opposition. So functional groups are also part of the relatedness players experience within every phase of play, practice, play. Competence, as we mentioned, has a great deal to do with how the coach observes and adapts so that teams are fair, teams are equal, and not one team is completely dominating over another team. And this does ensure optimal levels of repetition of whatever the goal is. So if the goal is improve scoring goals, it's not something that happens constantly, or it's not something that never happens. It's something that happens naturally as it would in a real game environment. So the coach will adjust this repetition and level of challenge that meets the needs of the players. The practice phase of play, practice, play allows a coach to adjust the activity from what might be what's designed as the core activity to other variations that have been pre-planned as the less challenging or more challenging activity, to even fine-tune more closely the activity itself to ensure that proper level of challenge to meet the competency psychological need. The 6 key qualities of a U.S. soccer player have been prioritized. And take a look at the top 2, reading and understanding the game and making decisions. And based upon that ability to perceive information that you are taking in from your senses, one must be able to take initiative and be proactive with player actions as opposed to being told to do something and then do it. So these are the 2 top priorities for making skillful players, for helping to be part of the environments that build better player-centered play and environments, and also allow skill acquisition to take place. I'd like to thank the following individuals for contributing to what I have just spoken about. That is the U.S. Soccer Coaching Education Department, the Director of Coaching, Barry Pauls, and the Grassroots Coach Educator, Zach Crawford. Dr. Amanda Visick and her colleagues at George Washington University with their fun integration theory and fun maps. Dr. Edward Deasy and Dr. Richard Ryan for the self-determination theory. The Aspen Institute Project Play, American Development Model, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and commonsensemedia.org. And I'd like to thank you for taking the time to attend this webinar. Please keep us in mind for future live Zoom 30-minute webinars each Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. for parents, and each Thursday at 4 p.m. for players and parents. And connect, please, with our West Orange United Facebook page for up-to-date information and announcements. Thank you very much, and look forward to seeing you soon.